The Line is the newest megacity that is under construction. This 105-mile-long city that underlines integration with nature while binding humans inside a set of mirrors is the new aspect that has caught everyone's attention. Do you want to know about this megacity? This is going to be an amazing city, so let's dive into the video to know all about this megacity. Keep yourself tuned till the very end. Here we begin. The future begins now. We got to see the drone footage that exhibits the construction starting on Saudi Arabia's sci-fi megacity called The Line. This megacity is schemed to be 105 miles, which are 170 kilometers long, that people can reside and work in without ever fleeing. As another day of failed cryptocurrency corporations and Big Brother watching us pass, it feels like we are crawling ever nearer to a sad future from a sci-fi novel, and the only aspect we have been foretelling is a futuristic megalopolis. Saudi Arabia's The Line grabbed headlines this past summer for its sleek and arguably unjust approach to a city which will be starring a mirrored covering that comprises an entirely self-contained city that is 546 yards or 500 meters tall, 218 yards or 200 meters wide, and a whopping 105 miles or 170 kilometers long. While the knee-jerking response was widespread skepticism over when and how this atrocity would ever get off the bottom, a new video from Saudi Arabia corroborates that The Line is officially a work in progress. The video surfaced on the internet and created quite a buzz. We got to see that this was posted to YouTube by the architecture information outlet named Dezeen, but let me clarify to you all that it was shot by the Saudi Arabian corporation Sky. The drone video is pretty devoid of elements. Still, a successful soundtrack achieves shots of building devices and trucks which are distributed throughout the desert as The Line's enormous footprint is dug out of the sand. Now, let's see who is the developer of this megacity. First, we got to see that Line is being brought to us by Neom, which is a corporation that is kind of architecture, engineering, and sustainability amalgamation. The Saudi Arabian government established it to innovate the country. In expansion to the hyper-thin and massively extended footprint of The Line, Neom asserts that the city will emphasize various neighborhoods walkable in just 5 minutes, trips to end trips in 20 minutes, and a constant microclimate. Neom is furthermore functioning in tandem on identical projects, which the corporation named regions and was Oxagon and Tran. This megacity will take time for us to have a proper glimpse, so if you're wondering about its release date, we got to note that there needs to be a timeline for fulfillment in place. The Saudi Arabian Crown Prince, named Mohammed bin Salman, mentioned a probable completion date around 2030 in a Neom press release. But until I begin glimpsing mirrors that will be sticking out of the Saudi Arabian desert, The Line will proceed to be a pipe fantasy. Of course, building an enormous city like The Line doesn't eliminate the many disagreements which are encircling bin Salman and the vicious monarchy that rules Saudi Arabia, comprising its controversial history damaged by a bloody human rights list. The width aspect certainly had me. 200 meters? I'm in a small town, so I can imagine it on my terms. That's like 3 lots of frontages broad. With transit inside and the walls having some thickness, it's almost like a giant-ass hallway. It won't surprise you all if I say that this megacity project is facing lots of criticism, isn't it? We got to know that the Neom project has faced a lot of criticism. According to Vice, many specialists have rejected the Neom undertaking as unrealistic and unlivable. Many analysts have doubted that these megacities would be as bearable as they contend. Philip Oldfield, the head of the building of the Environmental School at the University of New South Wales, Sydney, commented on this criticism. He explained that utopian thinking is crucial. He said that it would help them to question the preconceptions in the built setting that have developed traditional effects, which they understand will contain environmental degradation. But they also understand that the sustainability and livability statements about Neom are innocent. Many have stated that Line puts forward many questions. For example, how can such a tremendous program be bearable in any sense, provided that its building would generate more than 1.8 billion tons of carbon dioxide, comparable to more than 4 years of the UK's entire emissions? Many questions are surfacing over this megacity, like what is the advantage of its elevation when there is so much desert in which it could branch out? What would certainly be good about life in this wide-thin, city-wide, thinly wide-thin to elevate categories of surveillance and control and more? Some are also pointing out that the Neom undertaking has resulted in human rights crimes, as many units of the Huaytat tribe were imprisoned for boycotting their deportation from their homes to make means for the undertaking and sentenced to death. Provided the disagreement and the enormous effort of building a megacity like the line, many have proclaimed doubt over whether or not it will ever succeed in completion. For now, the nation will have to pause and see. Probably Neom will ensue as a sequel of futuristic towns in the following few years, or perhaps its vast dreams of areas like the Line, Trojan and Oxagon will proceed to exist just in the papers of science fiction books. You will find that Saudi Arabia doesn't precisely have a tremendous track record of building out enormous transit-centric projects on time. It is worth noting that it has just two. The first was created to assist Mecca in 2010, and the second was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia's capital. It is the residence of 7.6 million people, whose building began in the year 2014 but has confronted substantial waits. Well, you will see that the first was in 2019, then in 2021, and now in 2023. That massive public transit undertaking may have amounted to $27 billion, but that's pennies if we correlate it to the $500 billion that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman wishes to spend not simply on the line, but Neom, which is the overarching umbrella of futuristic megacity undertakings. After all, it won't be inexpensive to build a city full of robot dinosaurs, an artificial moon, and hereditary mutations to boost your strength and IQ or reimburse advisors to spin these pipe dreams as logically. None of this has or will deter Saudi Arabian officials who have already sentenced to death 3 indigenous men who refused to leave their homes after their land was seized for the Neom project. Now people will quit simulating this undertaking as anything more than a trash of resources or a hazardous gambit that might cost lives still is another problem. It's apparently possible to understand that a project of this order and scope puts forward the kind of concerns no one has ever expected to ask before. The Real Deal's Haitin Samtani notified the B1M, which is the YouTube's largest construction-focused channel, for a documentary about the line. He said that some of it is beyond his awareness at the moment. There are fresh engineering questions that even the world's major engineers haven't concluded. For instance, the line is so lengthy that its layout team is contemplating vacating a void at the top of the buildings to account for the curvature of the Earth. To our surprise, the Line megacity is the first city in the world that will be powered by renewable fuel. These renewable fuels include wind, solar, and hydrogen power, and that implies that the residents of the Line will dwell in the corresponding societies which will be run by artificial intelligence. This AI is formulated to coexist with nature. The futuristic growth will prioritize walkability, sterile energy, and technology to establish a new way of occupancy. Furthermore, reports have stated that there will be no highways, cars, or emissions. It will operate on 100% renewable energy, and 95% of the ground will be conserved for nature. Unlike conventional cities, people's fitness and well-being will be prioritized over conveyance and infrastructure. Now, the Line megacity will certainly be a great thing. We can all assure our hopes to the Saudi Arabian talents and the hard work that will ripen the fruits, which is a megacity. So that's all for today. Are you thrilled to know the concept of the Line megacity? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and smash that bell icon to get more uploads like this. See you soon.